Right, so good morning. Good morning, good morning. Right, so let's get straight to it. So for this week outlook, I'm gonna see what the market has for us this week. Starting with the DXY. So with the DXY, let me just remove this. We had a break of structure here, right? Just about 2 weeks ago. We're going into 3 weeks now. Ideally, with the break of structure, what I would love to see is for price to come back and retest structure and then continue to the upside, right? At the moment, price is still pushing up. And when I drop down to the daily time frame, as you can see, the momentum is still with the buyers. So right now, the DXY could potentially continue to push up to here before it gives us a retest, right? I was ideally looking for the DXY maybe to start to give us a retest from here. Let me just mark it. So I was looking for it to turn around here, right? Come and give us a retest and then continue up. But as we can see, the momentum is still pushing up. So, so there is a possibility that the DXY will continue to push up to this level without giving us a retest right now, right? But we will keep our eyes on that. Right, so right now there's nothing that I can give on the DXY other than we knowing for sure, well, we have a breaker structure. And in order for us to really look for opportunities with the DXY, we will need a retest, right? In order to continue up, or we will need to start to look for structure when the DXY actually starts to turn around, right? But there's nothing right now. There's nothing. So if you look at the 1 hour time frame with the DXY pushing up, let me just remove this. You will notice that we had a 1 hour high here. The market broke that, continued up, right? We had another 1 hour high here. And yesterday, the market broke that as well here, right? So the DXY is just pushing up. If I am looking for that retest to happen, I would need the DXY to break 1 hour structure, right? And at the moment, that 1 hour structure right now is here. So in order for us to confirm that retest, let me just change that to a different color and potentially look for opportunities on the way down, right? I will need to see the DXY come in and break in here, give me a retest, and then give me a push down to structure. That's what I will have to see, right? Now, if I don't get that, means that, you know, we just have to continue watching the DXY for now. But there's nothing we can do at the moment. All right. So let's go on to Euro USD. So Euro USD is giving us the same type of structure. As the DXY, right, where it broke daily structure, as you can see, right, and it continued down. What I was looking for with Euro USD was for it to come back up, retest this structure here that it broke, and continue to the downside. That's still an idea for me. But as I said, similar to the DXY, is still pushing down. So the momentum is still with the sellers at the moment, right? We should get that type of movement soon. But right now it's just a waiting game. And you don't want to force yourself in the market. You don't want to force any opportunities. You don't want to run behind any trades. You don't want to be second guessing, right? So this is one of those moments where you have to wait and let the trade set up. Right? So we gotta wait, let the trade set up. And then until then, potentially look for opportunities maybe in the minor pairs or the indices, right? So this is my analysis on Euro USD, right? For me to be interested in trading this pair, it needs to come back up to structure at least to give me a retest, or it needs to give me some type of structure during the retest, maybe on the 1 hour or 4 hour time frame, for me to actually buy and participate in a counter trend trade, right? So what I mean by that is if I go down to the 1 hour time frame, because we already know what we're looking for here on the daily and the 4 hour. So if I come down to the 1 hour time frame, right, in order for me to participate in a counter trend trade, I'm going to identify the 1 hour high, which is here, right? And I will need to see Euro USD breaking that 1 hour high, retesting it, and then we can participate in that retest for a counter trend trade, right? Until then, there's nothing we can do with Euro USD either. All right. So let's go on to GBPUSD. No, GU. Let's see what we have here. Okay. No. Just it. So let me explain what's happening with GU at the moment, right? Okay. So we had a breaker structure back in December 2020 here, right? Market continued to push up, never retested structure. So right now, we are having a retest of that structure, right? And market even trying to break it to sell. So there is potential that we can see GU turning around in this zone, right? But as I said at the start of the call, we don't want to be second guessing it, right? We don't want to be second guessing. But what I love to see in order to participate in that buy, right, is GU breaking here. There, I'm gonna put it in blue, right? Because structure was broken here. This is a structure that is being retested, but you can see that it was also broken here, right? So in order for us to participate in any opportunities now with GU, at least for the buy, I would have to see this type of movement happening, right? So, I mean, I like GU. Why? Because if I'm looking at patterns, right, we got a nice double bottom, a nice lopsided W, right? And potentially this W can push us back up to here, right? But before we participate in this buy, potentially, we need confirmation that the market is going to buy. And for me, that confirmation is it breaking the last high that it created, which is right here. So I need a break, a retest. I can look to enter for the buy here, and then we can take the market to the upside. So my advice would be to watch GU. Keep your eyes on 135.064. And once the market breaks there, then you can start to really put it on your watch list for a potential buy when it retests structure. Okay, so let's look at AUDUSD. So the majors right now just setting up, right? There's no opportunity at the moment with them. Before I remove this, I think what I have done here is similar, and I see, all right. So we might be able to get a buy with AUDUSD today, because AUDUSD is in an imbalance zone that I identified from October, right? You can see here, still looks good. But with AU, if you're looking to take a high risk trade, you could potentially get in here, right? In the zone, because this is the imbalance zone for the buy, all right? If you want to take a medium risk or a low risk trade, I would suggest you wait for, let's see here. I would suggest you wait for this high to be broken here. So this will be a low risk trade, waiting for this last high to break, and then get him for the buy. High risk trade, you can look to take your buy in this zone because it's currently in an imbalance zone that was created back in 1st of October this year. Right, so obviously, you know, there will be a lot of risk associated with this buy, but potentially you could just wait on this one here where we wait for this high to break, retest, and then you can hop in for the buy back up to back up to here at 0.73713. All right. Right. All right. So that's AUDUSD. Right. Let's look at NU. Okay. So let's see what we have on NZUSD. So we have structure here. Right. We have structure here. So there is potential for NZUSD to drop some more and come down to this area here, which is 0.67855, right? As a retest. Right? And the reason for that, again, similar thing, as I said, the market repeats itself. And if you know the cycle, it's just for you to figure out which part of the cycle are we currently in, right? So we had a break, right? Market pushed up, and now we're in a retest, right? So it's one or two things. Because the retest is on a higher time frame, which is a daily time frame, you could, one, participate in that retest, right? Because the retest will be for a couple of pips as well, given that it's on a daily. Or two, you could just wait for the opportunity to set up. You could wait for the retest to happen on the daily time frame into that zone and then catch the move to the upside. Right? So if we're going to participate in the retest, which is a counter trend trade, we will need to drop down to lower time frames to find structure on the lower time frames. Right, so let's do that. Right, so just excuse the noise in the background, just got a bit of construction going on. But so like I was saying, if we want to participate in this retest, we need to drop down to lower time frames and look for structure. All right. So on NZUSD, we have a 4-hour low here. All right. Right. So we got 4-hour low here. And let me come down to the 1-hour time frame. We got 1 hour high here, 1 hour low. Here we go. All right. So as you can see, I'm just going to change these to blue. As we can see, we had a break of structure yesterday. Right? So there is a possibility that we can still participate in the retest, waiting for structure to be retested, and we continue down. That's a potential. Right? Because we had break of structure yesterday. Market pushing down, wait for the retest, and then we could potentially get in for continuation, move to the downside. Okay. GCHF. No. I'm not going to do analysis on this as such because we're currently in this trade from last week. So last week we had two things happening. We had a break of structure here. All right. And then in that breakout, we had an imbalance candle right here. Right? So I wasn't looking for price to come back down to structure. I was more or less looking for price to retest the imbalance candle and continue to the upside, which is what happened. Right? So we're still in this trade. and one second. So so we had the imbalance candle here. We had a breaker structure here, imbalance candle here. So I had for the retest to come down into the imbalance zone and then take off, and that's exactly what happened. So this trade actually this started from Thursday last week to Tuesday now, right? So we have been holding for quite some time, but we're in profit, right? So it's pointless cutting the winning trade. So this is a good setup. I have for this to come up to this zone here, just in this zone, right? So I got for this to continue to push up, come up into this zone. My take profit is actually around here at 93,632. So that is USD chef. Nothing on that at the moment. USD CAD, nothing on USD CAD because last week the move that I wanted to catch on UCAD was this retest here. All right. So what we had a breaker structure. All right. Price came and it retested. Right. The only thing is that it retested and it came to this imbalance zone here. So let me show you guys the imbalance candle. This imbalance candle right here, right? Which is on a smaller time frame. In between here, right? So we had price breaking out, retest this area, and then it continued to the upside. So there's nothing that we can catch on this right now. What I would say is that my outlook on UCAD is for it to come up to here, which is 127,640. When it comes there, I would see if we could potentially get a short, right? Nice sell. If not, we will wait to see if the market is going to break. So this is a plan. Let me just show you. So we're either waiting for this or this. Right? So when it comes up here to this structure, we're going to wait for a retest. Possibly, if it doesn't break, we could get short. Or if it breaks, we can get a breakout, retest, and then we could look to continue for the upside. So it all depends on what happens here. So eyes here, keep your eyes here on structure, right here, and see what happens there. And the market is not that far away from there right now. Right? Okay. USD JPY. Let's see what's happening with UJ. Okay. So UJ, we have structure right here. All right. Just get it on the daily. All right, so price is actually currently breaking weekly structure right here. All right, this is structure. Everybody can see that structure here. right? And price is currently breaking that. So right now, I would say do nothing with USD JPY at the moment, right? What we're gonna wait for is for a clean breakout. So we need price to give us some momentum to the upside. So we need a nice solid breakout, price to potentially come up to here, give us a retest, and then we can look to participate in that move to the upside. Right now, the breakout is currently happening and it's not strong enough as yet, right? So we need a strong breakout. So we need this to completely move away from structure, give us a retest, and then we can participate in a move to the upside. Right? So nothing on UJ right now. All right. So gold. Now, I definitely have no trade with gold right now. Why? Because our take profit was hit yesterday, right? So last week, my analysis on gold for this sell that we caught was this. So let me show you what happened. Let me go to the 15-minute time frame and show you what we had. Right? So we had a 15-minute break of structure. Structure was here. Right? Obviously, this is a counter trend trade. So we had a 15-minute break of structure here. And after that, I was looking for a retest, right? So I had my retest to come back into this imbalance zone, right? So I had price to fill all of this and come back into this imbalance zone and then drop. And if you look on the 1 hour time frame, which time frame did I identify that imbalance? 1 second. Oh, there we go. 30-minute, right? We had a nice imbalance candle right here. No other candle gave us that imbalance candle but this, right? So I had price to come back up into this imbalance zone as a retest and then sell. And that's exactly what happened. So this sell started from Thursday last week, right? And it completed yesterday, right? So it was a really good set of pips that we got. It was really, really good. Nice trade. My analysis on gold right now, like I said, I didn't really have one, but what I would say is that a week ago or 2 weeks ago now, structure was broken here, right? So we had a break of structure. Right now, we have gold in the imbalance zone for that break, right? So this would be a risky trade if you had to take it, right? But for the imbalance zone, you could potentially look to get in for a buy, right? You can get in for a buy and potentially come back up to here, right? Because this move is done. So let me just take out some of these so we don't have too many things going on, right? Because it's currently in the imbalance zone, you can potentially get in for a buy and take the market back up to this area here, right? Specifically here. Right here. Then I take out the other one here. Again, I do apologize for the noise in the background. Just have some construction going on. Right, so you could potentially get this move on gold between today and tomorrow. All right.
So So how would you know when to go in for the buy?
Well, right now we're in a retest, a 4-hour retest. We're in the imbalance zone, right? We had a break retest. Now we're here. So I would drop down to be on the safe side of things. I would wait for breaker structure on a very low time frame, right? So either for price to break here to give me a break and retest. This is on a very low time frame because we didn't have structure on the 15, 13, or 1 hour. So it would be, I would have to use the 5-minute time frame to confirm that this is ready to buy. At least to get that move back up to here. Right? So if you look, you will notice we didn't have structure on the 30-minute, 1 hour, 15-minute, right? So the only thing we can do is wait for this. And not even that. As I said, it will be a very risky trade, but if you want, you can hop in, right? It's currently in the imbalance zone. It will be very risky, but if you want, as I said, you can hop in. We have a nice 4-hour retest. So if you notice, we had a retest. We're currently in a 4-hour retest at the moment. Right, so it's not a bad place to get him for entry. Just note that it is a risky trade.
Okay.
Right, so I'm gonna put some parameters on it now in 1 second. If you had to get in now, stop loss would be here. Right, take profit right here. Right, give that just a little bit of room. Yeah, that's the play. Right, tight stop loss. Let me just put that there. Right, and that would be the play for goal.
Stop loss is 1786, 1787.
1787.53. Well, Iceberg, I guess she gone in. Risky or not?
Oh, you couldn't hear that.
Iceberg.
She went in?
She went in.
I heard it. I heard it.
You heard it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
What do you think about the play?
Sorry?
What do you think about it?
All right. So since we're in that that H4 retest, I will personally wait for M15 structure to be created and then take the break and retest. Right? That's my thoughts on it.
I am profit already too.
That sounds good.
Right. So, right. All right, so that's the move on goal. As I said, this is a very risky trade, but it's in the imbalance zone, so you could potentially take that buy back up. Right. So let's carry on. Let's see what we have on the minors for this week. right, so Euro JPY, we have structure here. Right, structure was broken here on the daily time frame. So we're currently in a retest. Everybody could see that. Right? No. I would say price is very close to retesting structure. The only thing that I would potentially look at maybe is a further sell to here, which means that we have to drop down to a lower time frame. Otherwise, you can just leave it alone and let this set up. All right. So if you want to catch this move to here, obviously we have to drop to a lower time frame, which is what I'm going to look at now. Alternatively, to be on the safe side, you could wait for the retest and a push up. All right. So let's see what we have on a lower time frame. If we have any structure. I really don't like it, to be honest. Not a big fan of it, but this is 1 hour low and it was broken. All right. And this is a 1 hour high. Personally, I don't like this setup. I feel like it could potentially continue pushing up. I don't like how it looks. So I would leave that. And to be on the safe side of things, I'll go back to my original idea, which is to wait for the retest here. You're not that far away from it. All right, so wait for this retest and then we can look to take a push to the upside. EUROD. I definitely don't have anything on EUROD right now because I took this trade last week and it's still within that zone. So last week I had I took a buy here and my take profit was actually at 156,440, right? So that hit last week and all I had was price coming back down to entry and pushing right back up. So right now there's nothing on EUROD for me. In terms of setups, it would need to either break this high or break this low and continue down. So nothing at the moment. I will do some analysis on it tonight for sure. Okay, so you're a CAD. See what's happening here. Okay. You're a CAD. We have a break of weekly low, potentially. Right? This is a weekly low here. Let's bring it up a bit. Right? That's weekly low. Also imbalance zone on the weekly time frame. So we could get a push up from here. We could. Right? But right now, structure looks as if is breaking. All right? Structure looks as if it's gonna break. So I wouldn't do anything right now on your CAD. The only thing, if I had to, because it's in a weekly imbalance zone for potential buy, if I had to get into buy on this trade, I'm just gonna move this a bit and put this here. And I would say for me to get in for the buy, it definitely needs to break structure, retest, and continue up. All right. So I showed you guys that it is in a weekly imbalance zone. Let me show you the imbalance zone here in purple. So you have one here, right? So it might potentially push down. You also have one here as well, to be honest. You have two. All right. So it could potentially push down. Right. So to be on the safe side, like I said, it's best to wait for the 1 hour structure to break, retest. This is a play on your CAD. Wait for that break, retest, and then we can get him for that buy. All right, let's see what we have on your NZD. Oh. All right, so your NZD, we had a weekly break to the downside. Here. Right? And then we have price basically currently in some consolidation, right? So let me just mark up that consolidation because this will be an easy decision here, right? So the analysis on this is a break to the upside, retest, get him for the buy, or it has to break this consolidation before we could trade it. A break to the downside. Retest and sell. Right? So this is what we're waiting on for your NZD. Wait for breakout. Currently is consolidating. You want to wait for price to break, retest, so that you can be sure about the direction of this trade. All right? So nothing on that right now. Your GBP. Right, so your GBP, let's look, let's see what we have here. Actually, let me just get this up. This looks nice. All right, so let me drop down to the daily time frame because I feel like I had a break of structure here. We had a break of structure here on the daily. Right? Got a break of structure. We have one here. Diagram. I'm gonna see how I could figure out this consolidation as going on, all this noise. Any thoughts on EG iceberg?
Yes, it actually broke that daily structure over there. So I potentially seen that it's going up for a sell. So, right. And also it's respecting that structure over to the left as well.
So you're looking at a sell, right? Potential retest here, and then continuation to the downside. Because this is structure. This is a structure that was broken here on the daily. And this is your imbalance candle here. Right, so potentially it would be this retest and then continuation to the downside. So what I will do though, I will watch price here first, because if price breaks and come up to at least maybe test this high, right? Because this is an imbalance candle here. All right, so we got two things that could potentially happen here with EG. We have this, or we can get this. So I would say a watch price. You gotta watch price here for sure. See what happens there. If the momentum pushes up, then we can look at getting the sell here. Right? So the noise in my house is getting louder. So let's just quickly so we can wrap this up. So let's see what's happening here on GBPUSD. So we had a breaker structure right here. Right? Currently retesting it. We could see potential move to the upside. However, what I would say is that before we buy GJ, I would like to see this high broken. So, I mean, overall, you could see where the market is setting up. The market is definitely setting up. And a lot of these setups you have to wait on, right? There's really not much at the moment in terms of what we could get into, but just wait for the setups to play out. So it's just a patience game, this moment. All right. DA, let's finish the GBPs. Oh. That was a trade I was looking at last week, but not really that interested in it anymore. GA, I'm looking at this. Okay, you had a break, a structure here, right? You had a break a structure. So just wait on that retest and you can definitely get into GA. So that price come down to here. And then we can definitely look at taking that buy to the upside. All right. That's GA, GCHF. Same thing. Same exact thing, guys. Right, so with GCHF, we had a break a structure here. So just let price come into the zone a bit more, and then you can look at that by GCHF. But this is setting up nicely, nice bullish flag forming, right? So just wait for that, and then you can take the buy on GCHF. So the GBPs are setting up for some good buys. All right. GN broke structure. We had a break of structure here. Right, and we also had a retest already, so there's nothing we can do on GN at the moment, right? Because this already took off, probably like yesterday. Okay, so nothing on GN right now. And then finally, let's look at GCAD. Right. That's full structure there. Okay. So we had a break of structure here. Right. What I will wait on with GCAD is for the market to push down to here and then continue up at least to here. So you can still get a nice move after this retest, right? So just wait for the market to, yeah, GCAD looks nice. So waiting for the market to just retest this zone and then give us a push up. And that's it, guys. So my favorites for the week, as I mentioned, is firstly potential GU, but it needs to break this structure. So we need a break, retest, continue to the upside. All right. AUDUSD. We're currently in an imbalance zone on AUDUSD. So we might be able to get, as I said, this will be an aggressive buy. We can get a push to the upside. Alternatively, we can wait for the breaker structure here, retest, and then catch a move to the upside. Goal, where are we? As I did mention, this was an aggressive buy. And it actually brought the imbalance zone, because this is the imbalance zone here, right? So it could be potentially coming down to here. Let me show you. Could be coming to this area here of imbalance. Right. So you could potentially get gold coming down to here before it turns. All right, so you could potentially get gold coming down to here before it turns. Right. So that's the potential move because it's still dropping, and this is an imbalance zone here. All right, so it's just a matter of waiting. As you did rightfully suggest, iceberg is waiting for 15-minute structure to form on gold first. Right, so waiting for 15-minute structure to form and then get that break and retest on the 15-minute before we enter for the buy. All right, so you got to wait for 15-minute high to form and then wait for the high to break, be retested, and then we can get him for a buy potentially. Right, your odd. No, your odd is definitely not a favorite. GBPAUD is. So GBPAUD is a favorite for the week, just waiting for price to come down to structure, and then we could look at buying off of this retest, and then finally GBPUSD. I do love this. So just that price, this is really close to entry right now, right? That price come into this zone, and then you could look for a buy and push to the upside. All right, so that's it really for this week's outlook. Hopefully you guys managed to catch some moves. The market is overall setting up again fresh, so there's not much happening right now, but there's still opportunities in the market for you to catch, right? So it's just a matter of being patient and waiting for the market to set up. All right, any questions?